You cannot make this up. I was watching this game live at my grandfather's house months ago, and I wanted to impress my grandpa because he got me into baseball. And fast forward to 2025, I make baseball videos, and I told him that Andy Pages follows me on Twitter. And I was immediately met with this swing. Pages swung at a pitch that probably took out a family of earthworms in the dirt. And I remember being like, ooh, hopefully Pages can bounce back because that was pretty bad. Turns out, fast forwarding to today, that was a rigged pitch. Emmanuel Clase spiked a slider and he had bettors betting on that pitch. He literally went down to the clubhouse 20 minutes after the game and was texting sad puppy faces. I don't know if it was gifts or what, but sad puppy faces to people that he literally cost money because, well, it wasn't his fault. Andy Pages saved the game of baseball by swinging at a pitch that again took out earthworms. It was so low. Clase did not hide it, and it's just crazy. I watched this live, and I remember thinking, why would Pages swing at that? Well, I'm sure Clase and his bettors were thinking the same thing. So with that in mind, I do have to go outside for this next clip because there's actually some evidence being shipped to my house. This is an exclusive. I have pieces of information that no one has. I have a brain scan from Emmanuel Clase's medical doctors. Here it is. My bad, guys. I accidentally dropped the evidence, but I got it right here. So this is from a medical examiner. So Emmanuel Clase is actually the only human in the history of baseball to not have a brain in his head, right? So he only has rocks in there, and I just thought I had to show that. So yeah, you go back home. Okay. All jokes aside, I don't know how long this video is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a 4-minute rant or a classic 15-minute fuzzy rant where I go in circles and I talk about the same things a couple different times. But again, all jokes aside, Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz, two Guardians pitchers, have been indicted. Luis Ortiz was already arrested. He was arrested earlier in Boston. His lawyers are, just like everyone who gets caught, the lawyers come out, they love the game of baseball. They would never cheat. Robinson Cano, I mean, does that name sound familiar? One of the greatest second basemen of all time. He swore up and down that he never cheated the game, and then he got suspended a second time. A-Rod, same thing. Manny Ramirez. If someone says that they love the game of baseball, they took it seriously and they never cheated, they probably did. I've been getting spam with people saying, Fuzzy, where's your reaction video? Well, come on, you got to speak out against this. Guys, I was hanging out with family. I did not think that one of the best closers in the history of baseball and his teammate were going to be sentenced to prison for almost 65 years on a random Sunday in November. I just didn't have that on my bingo card. I'm sorry. But without further ado, I'm going to show all of the examples of Emmanuel Clase literally rigging pitches and the game of baseball. This dates back to 2023. This information literally blew my mind. So the first instance, and there could have been more, I have no idea, but on May 19th, 2023 against the Mets, Clase won his bettors $27,000 for throwing a pitch harder than 94.95 miles an hour. A couple weeks later, I should say, same year, 2023, June 3rd against the Twins, he won his bettors $38,000 for throwing slower than 94.95. So proof was in the pudding. They executed, and bettors are winning a ton of money. Now they're going to get greedy, and they're going to start doing parlays, I believe. So 4 days later, on June 7th, 2023 against the Red Sox, again, they're doing parlays now. So if they get 2 right, they're going to win a lot more money because the multipliers go up. So the bettors won, I think, $58,000 on a parlay that it would be a ball and slower than 94.95 miles an hour. Another instance versus the Sox. Now we're in 2025, April 12th, 2025. Bettors won $15,000. I don't know if they got spooked or they just haven't really seen other instances from that June 7th Red Sox to 2025. Maybe they got scared. I have no idea. But there was another parlay. $15,000 was won from a ball and slower than 94 point something. The next day, Clase texted the bettor. I had people, real life humans, on my Twitter after I went off on Emmanuel Clase. Fuzzy, they can't prove this. Literally, Emmanuel Clase, the next day after that $15,000 winnings, he texted the bettor to make sure the winnings went towards house repairs in the Dominican Republic. Emmanuel Clase, not anyone else. May 11th, 2025, a couple weeks later, the bettor was now at the game, and the tickets were provided by Emmanuel Clase. They won $11,000 on all they had to do was correctly predict a ball. There was no predicting because Clase, he was the dude with the ball in his hand. He knew what was coming. And overall, from 2023 to 2025, at least $400,000 was won by bettors thanks to Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz rigging the game of baseball. I still cannot believe that this is coming out of my mouth. I'm even, whoa! You know that whole, what is it? The stages of grief where it's like denial. Because at first I'm like, no. Clase, he's way too rich and way too good to be ruining his life over a couple buckaroos. And I mean that. He literally threw his life away for $12,000. Okay, so first it was denial. Now I'm straight up angry. I don't know when the depression sets in, but it's, the key thing to point out, remember, so the bettors took away $400,000+. Clase only took away $12,000. So there were some pitches in June. There was a couple, I think it was the 15th and 27th, something like that, of June of this year. He was given $5,000 to throw the first pitch and then $7,000 to throw the second. So he literally is risking prison time, millions of dollars, and his life over $12,000. And to me, the worst part is, not only is he ruining his life, he got his teammate involved as well, because remember, I'm calling Clase the orchestrator because he's been doing this since 2023. So the 2 pitches in June, the court documents allege that Clase pretty much facilitated it and that Luis Ortiz was just kind of in on the easy money, but Clase was the mastermind of all of this. Now, I do have to notate that Luis Ortiz, he was essentially traded for Andres Gimenez. Now, I don't think very highly of Andres Gimenez as a batter, but he went crazy in the postseason, Agent Zero, good for him. But remember, Luis Ortiz was essentially traded for Andres Gimenez because, if you don't remember, Gimenez was traded to the Blue Jays for Spencer Horwitz, but Spencer Horwitz was just the bridge to get Luis Ortiz. He was sent to the Pirates. So Cleveland, they lose a 27-year-old, once-in-a-lifetime type talented closer in Emmanuel Clase and a 26-year-old starting pitcher in Luis Ortiz, who's a flamethrower. He throws 97+ miles an hour. He had double-digit strikeouts multiple times in 2025. He was on pace to set a career high in strikeouts per 9. That's all gone. Players in their prime. And as a Guardians fan, like, the stages of grief, now I'm pissed. And also, this muddies the whole game of baseball for me as a Cleveland fan, because now I'm thinking, did this moron with rocks in his head throw the ALCS against the Yankees? Because we have to remember, Emmanuel Clase gave up 5 runs and 2 home runs the entirety of 2024. In 70+ innings in 2024, 5 earned runs total and 2 home runs. Against the Yankees, he gave up 2 home runs in 1 game. The next game, he gave up 2 more earned runs. I don't know how I've gotten this far into the video without mentioning that Emmanuel Clase is also the same guy who got banned 80 games after being traded from the Rangers to the Indians at the time. He was banned 80 games in 2020 for taking steroids. 80 games. This dude, again, has nuts and bolts in between his eyes instead of a muscle up there. He doesn't have a cerebellum, a medulla oblongata. He has nothing up there but pebbles and nerds clusters, which, by the way, are the greatest candy ever. Anyway, sorry. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm not even get into that. He does not have nerds clusters in his brain. It's literally sawdust. This guy has cheated the game of baseball twice. Twice! How do you get suspended for steroids at a young age, bounce back from that, showcase your all-time talent, and now you're betting on pitches behind the scenes and sending money back to the DR for house repairs? This guy was on pace to get 50+ million, maybe even $100+ million if he kept that historic pace into his 30s, because he was going to be a free agent, I believe, after 2029. Maybe he has 400 saves and he had a sub 2 ERA in 4 or 5 consecutive seasons, and maybe he gets an extension of $50-60+ million and he makes $100 million throughout his career. Luis Ortiz, again, he was on pace to set a career high in strikeouts per 9. He's in the Cleveland system. They do a great job at fixing guys like Ben Lively and random guys like that. Maybe they unleash the full capacity of Luis Ortiz and that sinker and his. It's never going to happen now. These guys are getting banned forever. It's just like, I hate, as a baseball fan. Like, first off, as a Cleveland fan, I am pissed because these guys were supposed to be cornerstone players for the next half decade, and Clase was supposed to be a future Hall of Famer. I mean, the dude might have had a statue in Cleveland. He's been that historically productive. And second, as a baseball fan, I mean, you got umpires getting canned because they... Oh, dude. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I don't even know what to say. I'm getting to the point where now I'm disassociating, because in this video, I've been angry, I've been sad, and now I'm not even looking. I'm literally staring at a blinking light on my monitor. I'm speechless. May 19, 2023, June 3rd, 4 days later. Now we have 2025. The next day he's texting guys. May 11th, June 15th and 27th. Clase and Ortiz are both doing things, and they're texting sad puppy dog things because Andy Pages is ruining rigged pitches. I mean, they got to be banned for life. They have to be banned for life and sent to prison. Again, it's probably not going to be 65 years, but you have to absolutely go scorched earth on these idiots and set the pace that if you even bet on a singular pitch, you are gone for eternity, never to be seen again. You are sent to the Shadow Realms and Davy Jones' locker. And you have to literally watch Coco Melon on repeat 25/7 for the rest of eternity. You are destined for... I disassociated again. I'm about to get angry again. Why can't Cleveland fans have anything nice? Honestly, why? I have tons of friends who are Dodgers fans. I know Yankees fans haven't had a ton of like celebrating championships over the last decade or something like that, but at least they have 27. Like they have that to hang their hat on. My team hasn't won a championship in like 80. My poor grandfather just turned 85 years old today. Happy birthday, Grandpappy. I don't even remember the last time the Cleveland baseball team won. I got to do some research. Again, my grandpa is 85 years old today. He was born in 1940. Win the team's World Series championship drought since 1948. So my grandfather was 8 years old. Okay, so at least the Guardians, Indians, whatever they were at the time, won a chip during his lifetime, but I don't remember anything when I was 8 years old. He doesn't have a World Series that he remembers. Happy birthday, Grandpa. 2 prime pitchers are banned forever for being idiots. I just had to get this off my chest. I appreciate you guys watching until the end. If you did, this was as incoherent, and I didn't even have a script aside from like the examples of him cheating and stuff like that. So let me know your thoughts on this whole situation. Do you think that the Guardians are going to get compensated in any capacity? Because again, 2 cornerstone pitchers gone just like that, and they were traded for one of them was traded for assets, and now you get a couple prospects for the guy. I mean, goodbye.